Okay, welcome everybody to this very first in-person Data Mesh Live conference. Also glad to see so many familiar faces of the Data Mesh community here in person. We've seen each other a lot online. We're finally discussing it in person with each other. For those who don't know me, my name is Tom de Wolf. I'm an active member of the Data Mesh community. And program lead and host for you today. My day job is all data mesh from strategy to implementation with a company called ACA Group here in Belgium. And of course, the topic of today is data mesh. Not only data mesh, but all different practices that have occurred during the last years to support this, going from the 4 principles, but also things like data contracts and knowledge graphs. All topics we're going to cover today, so I'm really excited for the content of this conference. Before we go into the content, some announcements. So for the venue, you're here in the Okapi room on the ground floor. There's also the Gorilla rooms, which is on the first floor, where there's a track in the afternoon. And on the second floor, there are the bird rooms, and more specifically, I think, a pelican room where there will be a lab starting at 10. To find those other rooms, you best go all the way into this hallway to the stairways, and then you can reach every floor that you want. Also, catering is in the atrium. Coffee is everywhere. Bathrooms are gender neutral, and you can fill your water bottles at stations that are around here. We also have a Slack. Please join it for the latest announcements or changes or just to stay in touch. It's at this URL. For socials, use the hashtag DataMeshLive. You can find us at Blue Sky and LinkedIn. Follow us there and make some noise about the content and the conference. For the conference, we also have a Pac-Man rule, meaning when you're in the hallways or having a break, and you're having a discussion, maybe try to leave open one spot for someone to join, so that someone who wants to join in the conversation is welcome to see that. If you have joined, just open up again for another spot. This way we want to stimulate having a conversation with people that you meet at the conference. Maybe it's your first conference, maybe you're not feeling comfortable in large crowds. We have a conference buddy system for that, so there are stickers at the info booth when you want to be a conference buddy. There's a Slack channel to get connected to each other, so if you feel that that's an interesting program for you, please join it too. We also find it important that everyone feels safe and welcome at this conference. So for that, there is a code of conduct, which you can find on this URL. If you see something or experience something that you think is not okay, or even if you are in doubt, just report it. All reporting is taken confidentially, and you can find the details to contact the right people on the website, or just talk to the staff that you see around you. There are also t-shirts like the one I'm wearing right now. You can get your own t-shirts at the cloakroom, right in the break that follows this session. So do get it there. And if you need other support, again, just talk to the staff. We welcome feedback. There will also be feedback forms sent after the event to all of you to give that feedback. Of course, also a big thanks to our sponsors, without whom we cannot do this event today. Okay, it's currently, I think it's already 6 years ago when data mesh was unleashed. So what do we actually see as the current state? But yeah, we're in the age of Gen AI, so maybe we should ask a Gen AI model what this is. So let's try that. So we are already 6 years into data mesh. Where did we come from, and where are we now? So now we have to wait a bit for the answer to that. But even better, we have a live connection to San Francisco. Welcome, Zhamak, to Data Mesh Live.
Oh, hi, everyone. Hi, Tom. Thank you for hosting me.
No problem. Thanks for phoning in this late. Zhamak, it has been a few years since you first articulated the data mesh principles. Reflecting on this journey, what was the trigger or first spark that made you write about data mesh? How did you come up with it?
I think, like many people that write something that challenges the status quo, direct encounter with the problem, and direct encounter with the problem as an outsider triggers kind of the obsession with finding a solution. So I came to the data space a bit left field. I was in distributed systems, large-scale kind of transactional systems in a way. For many years, I had patents and studied everything from the networking layer up to the distributed architecture over the course of my career. And I came left field to the data field, and it just felt the laws of physics in the universe of data were not the same laws of physics that govern the distributed systems. And more importantly, from the application development. So that's kind of triggered the thought, combined with obsession, and then applying cross-disciplinary kind of thinking and drawing from that past experience and applying it to the data gave birth to data mesh.
Yeah, great. So what surprised you the most about its adoption? Is there anything you would do differently today if you would write a book today again?
I think what surprised me was the prevalence of the problem. The very first time I went and talked about data mesh before it was called data mesh, I went to this conference not knowing what the reaction would be. I thought I'm talking sacrilegious and I might get a backlash. And I got a very excited room after the talk. So the problems that data mesh surfaced were problems that people were facing and feeling, but nobody was thinking about it. I think what and following that, the embracing of the ideas and the innovations that happened beyond that and adoption, and to this day having this conference, of course, it's a humbling experience, and it really excited me and delighted me. I must admit, what I didn't realize when I wrote the book was that how much the existing conceptual, and implementations, the technical implementations of the data management creates a gravity wall for something new to take hold. So even though that the data mesh as a concept became a global theme and a trend, the word data product became synonymous with data, and data mesh became synonymous with the next data strategy. And even though words or values were adopted, I feel the systems and the implementations are still pretty much shackled and chained by the concepts, the implementation and technical concepts that existed. So if I wrote the book again, I would probably create more cognitive dissonance and show concrete examples of contradictions in the current ways of working and these data mesh ways of working to maybe facilitate that movement. When I wrote the book, I didn't want to write about technology. If I did that again, I would do the same. I wanted for the book to be lasting longer than technologies last. So I will keep the book still to its core principles. However, perhaps I will include more from and to in the book to create that contrast. If I write another book, then that new book might be about the technology, but the original book I will keep it the same as keeping to the first principles.
Are you saying you're planning that?
Not right this moment. I'm very, very, very busy right now trying to create something else.
Yeah, sure. For those in the audience that are on their data mesh journey or are about to, what would be your key piece of advice on how they can future-proof their work and their career in this area?
Yeah, I mean, I think what I would probably one thing I would encourage folks to think about and implement is that, you know, data mesh was framed and is a socio-technical shift and change. So it does include the organizational and human side of change as opposed to the as well as the technical side. However, we often find ourselves in a moment in time that we have to pick a side. I've talked to many folks that they may start the conversation by telling their journey and saying, we're working on the organizational side now. Well, technical part is easy. Or we bought a technical solution, but we can't get the organizational change. And I think these two aspects of the change are geared together and need to kind of move together like two gears that moving each other to move as a whole system. So one thing that I would say is that think about your implementation that change as this dual gear system that moves together. The other piece I would say is that the more disconnected your tools and technologies and the enablement layer, the physical enablement layer is from how people are expected to work, the more difficult shifts could be. So keeping those both social and technical aspects in sync and connected, you will have a faster vehicle to create change. I think that would be probably one thing I would encourage people to think about.
To keep that in a balance and not focus on one thing, actually, then, yeah.
Yeah.
Given that we are co-located here on the Domain-Driven Design conference, could you share your perspective on the link you see between data mesh and domain-driven design, and how do you see that shape the future of data mesh further?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, data mesh was heavily influenced by domain-driven design and the work of Eric Evans. I took it to a more organizational level beyond just the software level, and then I applied it to data and both at the organizational level and at the system level. I think the common thread between both is managing complexity. Data system, even more than I feel software systems, are very, very complex because you have this kind of multitude of dimensions that across which the change happens. So, you know, we have many data formats, we have many data locations, we have many data applications, we have many ways of processing the data. So each of those dimensions creates, multiplied, creates a combinatorial kind of complexity that the people managing that complexity need to grapple with. And to manage complexity, often systems evolve by creating abstractions. And when we think about from the machine layer to the human layer or the user layer abstractions or app layer abstractions, often the levels below closer to the machine, and the levels above are closer to the human cognition, human language, and semantically rich concepts. And that's where domains exist. So domains exist at that kind of top layer. And I think that is ever more relevant now because even the next generation of systems that are creating with LLMs and agents, they do live in that semantic layer. They do communicate, with kind of that semantic rich interface. So I think breaking down complexity, decomposing complexity through domains, and then layering and abstracting technical details in the lower layers of, the data stack or any technical stack is the only way to kind of make progress. Otherwise, we're tangled and forever trying to manage this combinatorial complexity of data systems.
Is that also how you see data mesh play a crucial role in getting AI ready for companies?
Of course, I'm extremely biased. So if you ask me, I would say yes. but if I may argue as why I think data mesh would be key and the principles of data mesh would be key, really the most important aspect is that the three, in my mind, the three S's, speed, scale, and safety. Right now, the application layer built with Gen AI or agentic technologies and LLMs are moving extremely fast. The speed at which innovation at that layer needs to happen, never seen, never experienced before. But that layer is only as fast and as effective still at the data layer. So if you come down from kind of the LLM-enabled backed applications, agents, to the data layer is still extremely slow. Generation of trusted data takes months, weeks. So speed, again, it's really, really key, but the speed with safety. And I think data mesh through parallelization of creation of data and ownership of data creates that scale and speed. And by, again, encoding safety as computational governance in those parallel threads at every touch point of the data, I think that's really the only, these are the mechanisms that create speed with safety at scale. And I think in what's interesting with kind of, again, agentic systems is that they are very, very sensitive to their context. And their context is domain oriented, is based on how humans and business semantic define the landscape of a business, and very domain oriented. So I think it's a really a perfect fit and a perfect match for, and the only way we have right now, at least in terms of the paradigms, to bridge the gap between the speed of application development and then the speed of data availability.
Yeah, sounds logical. As we kick off this event, what message do you have for this community? What role do you see the community playing in shaping the future of data mesh?
Yeah, I mean, I'm beyond hopeful for this community to kind of carry the work forward. I'm extremely happy to see this room, even though it's 12:48 a.m. my time and I'm ready for bed. But I'm so excited. I was so excited to stay up and connect with you. As I said, the gravity of the past paradigms of data is quite large and quite powerful. And without a community working at it and applying the principles and evolving the technology and spreading the lessons learned, there are a lot of lessons that we have learned over the past 5-6 years and continue to learn. It's a must-have. So I'm very, very grateful for Tom, to you and others who organized the conference. And I encourage the conversation and the spreading of the experience to continue through forums like this.
Yeah, we'll certainly do that. Thank you a lot, Zhamak, for calling in at this hour.